Sometimes I feel like the chosen one. I am the one, the chosen son. You know my body ain't no run it up. Too many chains can't keep them tucked. Sometimes I feel like the chosen one. I am the
Hey, welcome to Stutter podcast hosted by me, Nino Alfred, where we talk about sports, shoes, fashion, music, and many more depending on which guests we have on the podcast. But today, on the third episode of Stutter podcast, we're going to talk about the upcoming football season. Welcome back, guys. Episode 2 was a funny one with Miles and Justin, and we got the same group back on episode 3. Go ahead, say what's up, guys.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, guys?
Let's go ahead and kick it off with the crazy contract extension with Patrick Mahomes. What was it? 10 years, 480 million, 500.
It was almost 500
It was
million.
over 500.
It was 503 million.
What do you guys think about that?
Okay, so when I first saw this, I was baffled, but two, it makes a lot of sense. You got to think about longevity wise. He plays the most, he has 5 guys whose jobs are literally to protect him. So longevity wise, the quarterback position, who are the oldest players in the league? You got Drew Brees, you got Phillip Rivers, you got Tom Brady. What position do they play? And it's not like Patrick Mahomes does any out of pocket running or anything like that. He's got a cannon. So he's someone who's going to sit back in the pocket and make moves with his arm. So I think 10 years from now, I think he's only 24. He's
24, 25.
He's 24, 25.
Yeah.
Signing him only through 34, 35 years after winning a Super Bowl MVP, and having an MVP, I think it was a really smart move on behalf of Kansas City, securing their future. Because you can build around Mahomes with any type of lineup, and you're almost guaranteed 1 or 2 in your division every year, just because that division is so weak.
But if you look at every other great quarterback, say a Tom Brady or Ben Roethlisberger, one thing you got to take into effect is injuries. So Mahomes almost tore his ACL last year.
Last year he dislocated his patella.
So that's one thing you look at. All the great quarterbacks have gone through injuries. Because I just looked up the contract of the $500 million. It's only guaranteed $140 million. So that's something you gotta look into. But it's not like they're gonna cut him.
Business major.
Anytime soon. So that's just something to take into account. While it's a huge contract, only about 140 out of 500. You're looking at only 20% of the contract is guaranteed.
I feel like that's safe. I feel like obviously Mahomes is going to.
It's still the highest guarantee in NFL history, but it's still it's still a big number.
He'll shoot through that, but like you said, injury-wise, that guaranteed money and the non-guaranteed is protection for both the player and the team. And if you think about 1/5 of that contract is guaranteed to the player versus the majority of it not based size-wise on the rest of the team, I think that's fair. Go ahead.
And I was gonna say, one thing to take into account is the last guy that got a huge deal like this is Russell Wilson. Well, it's only I think it was 3 or 4 years, but he was the highest paid quarterback at the time. But the only thing you gotta look at with Mahomes is the guys that you surround him with, because that's what they were saying when Russell Wilson made it to the Super Bowl. He was still on his rookie contract where he was only making a couple mil a year, and he had the weapons around him. So with Mahomes' deal, obviously it's gonna be hard to keep guys like Kelsey or Tyreek Hill or any of those
happy with money
wide receiver money-wise, and you're going to have to rely on guys from the minimum or guys on their rookie contracts. So that's going to be interesting because Mahomes is going to be the singular constant factor in the Kansas City offense. But how's it going to work when you have to have a rotation of guys coming through
and getting theirs right eventually? Like you said, Russell Wilson, did Doug Baldwin finally left? They're not overpaying Jimmy Graham. Marshawn Lynch is gone maybe, and he's been able to produce with players on minimum contracts like Tyler Lockett and rookies like DK Metcalf, and I think that's what they're going to have to do in the future, realistically. The only thing I worry about, like you said, injury-wise, Kansas City's O-line is not that good. That's just my opinion. When was the last time they had a good O-line and a good running back? Maybe Jamal Charles 6-7 years ago?
Well, they had the number 1 pick a while back, Eric Fisher. I think that's
he's still there? They don't have Sheriff, do they? No, he's on the Giants.
Oh, Brandon Sheriff, yeah.
But what I remember Patrick or someone saying that, even though that you got that contract extension, they were still able to pay, what was that D-tackle, Chris Jones.
Oh, yeah.
That they gave him, I think, a $55 million guarantee or something like that. So, I think that they made that contract, friendly enough so they could still sign other people or extend other people's. Or I don't know how much money the Chiefs owner has, but I guess
It's
they
not
made
state
it.
cap wise, right?
Yeah, they made it adjustable where they can still sign other players to build around Patrick Mahomes for the next 10 years. But I mean, but if he got that contract extension, I mean, what do you? I mean, how many people are you going to extend from this team? You got Tyreek, you still need to extend, I think, or did he already get an extension?
No. Kelsey, like Miles said.
They got to re-sign Tyrann Mathieu at some point if they're going to bring him back, and he was a key part of that defense, and that defense isn't the greatest either. I mean, they got to keep an old line around Patrick Mahomes for the next 10 years to protect him from injuries. I mean, they can bring any running back in from anywhere. They'll make him fine. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to him being healthy, which I think he can, but that just comes down to not just lowering the amount of times he runs out the pocket or. And then I forgot about Travis Kelsey. Did he get an extension already? I think he did,
got
right?
one
He did.
prior to all this.
Yeah.
So they got him.
I think the face value of like how big these numbers are is like kind of like it's kind of awe-setting where it's like, wow, that's a lot of money, but think about the cap, it's going to go up. It's scheduled to go up progressively. He's setting the market now, but it is what it is right now, and it's only going to go up. So I think they get him for a steal. And if they're smart, they're going to just go the way that all the dynasties the last 20 years have. What is Peyton Manning's Colts, Tom Brady's New England Patriots, or all of them. They don't overpay running backs. They beef up the O-line, and they put money towards defense. That's how all those teams operate, and that's how they all win. So I think that they're going to follow that formula to the next generation, especially with a great like offensive-minded coach like Andy Reid. I'm sure they'll be fine.
I just think it's crazy how, I mean, it was just, 3 years ago he was drafted, and no one thought he'd be the way he is now. I mean, everyone thought that the Chiefs were crazy for trading up to the 10th overall pick to get him, and he was supposed to go late first, mid first, or whatever. And it just shows that, I mean, if the Chiefs want someone that they believe in the runner offense, I mean, you go for him. But it's just crazy how he sat behind Alex Smith the whole year besides the last game of the season, his rookie season. Learn a lot from him. And then the second season he comes and just breaks all types of records. Wins the MVP. And then didn't do anything in the playoffs. And then the next season had a good season, got hurt, but then came back and brought their team to a Super Bowl win and win Super Bowl MVP. I just think, I mean, has there been a better 3-year start to an NFL quarterback's career? That's probably why he's got this extension. You think about it. I mean, there's other quarterbacks that are I wouldn't say up to his par, but it's just that his accolades built up to why he got that contract extension. Do you guys disagree?
I mean,
with
I feel like there's anyone to compare, it'd maybe be like Cam Newton, amazing rookie year, and then MVP by his third year. But then again, Patrick Mahomes is like the most humbled, level-headed guy, like really the Steph Curry of the NFL, where you don't put, and like I said, it's a very team-friendly contract, where he's not putting himself first. And I think he's more in line for success than, say, Cam Newton with his ego problems, his coaching problems, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, I think we'll be fine.
Someone mentioned Andy Reid. I don't know if he's not going to coach to the life of this contract. Like, he's a little older. So he'll only be there for a couple more years. So I wonder if his impact on the game will affect Patrick Mahomes in any way. But it sounds like Patrick Mahomes, I saw an interview with him. He didn't even know how to properly read a defense last year when he won the MVP, and so it's like he's still learning and evolving. It's like, how can you get
that's like
that
Brett
much
Favre?
better?
Yeah, that's the Brett Favre story too.
So that's interesting.
Do you guys? Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Andy Reid wise, I think his style of coaching, which is if you think back to the 2012 Eagles, where it was all offense and one good secondary player and Nnamdi Asomugha, which is exactly how they won this year, was an incredible offense and Tyrann Mathieu. So I think that, yeah, like you said, I think they will move on from him eventually, but I think Mahomes could play under any coach.
Do you guys think, with all the accolades he has now and the way he's been playing, do you think when it's all said and done, will he be the greatest quarterback of all time?
No.
Winning six, no.
No.
Because he's not going to win
No.
6 rings.
No. Andy Reid and no coach of the next foreseeable future is ever going to be a Bill Belichick.
Yeah, it's not
or
like I'm a huge fan of
Bill Walsh.
a huge fan of like Tom Brady, but it's kind of hard. You're saying the guy's gonna win. Say in this contract's 10 years, so say this is the rest of his career, is these next 10 years. That means he's gonna have to win a Super Bowl every other year. It's like I saw on First Take, Max Kellerman was saying like, when was the last time someone won back-to-back Super Bowls? And that's what they eventually would have to do for Mahomes to get to 6.
When was that?
Exactly.
Was that like the Raiders in the 70s or some shit like that?
No, that's like the thing is like it's.
No, it was the Niners.
It's so much
80,
harder
89.
in the NFL to go back to back or win every other year because like the Patriots, they essentially did it. So I don't know. I think he wins at least another one, maybe 2.
I think when it comes to personal accolades, when you talk about MVPs, passing, touchdowns, stuff like that, I think he will be. Just based on where he is right now. But you're talking about championship-wise, that really relies more on the GM, the culture. Like, for example, Brady has had players come in and out, and he's been consistent, but the GM has consistently surrounded him with players like freaking Richard Seymour out of nowhere on, like, trash shit on contracts and been able to get him back to Super Bowls and shit like that. So, and that's not on Tom Brady. That's on what the GM can do and what the team can make and prioritize.
That's fair. Sticking to quarterbacks, what do you guys think, since Dak has been wanting all this money, and do you guys think Dak is going to want, not half, but around around $5 million away from a range from Patrick Mahomes, or does he want the 35? I don't know what Dak wants. Do you guys think that he deserves that, or is going to ask for that at some point?
1, he doesn't deserve it. 2, he wants it though. So the answer to the first one, do you think he'll want it? Yes. Will he deserve it? No. Me and Miles actually talked about this earlier, and it's about Dak Prescott. Like, we talk a lot about it, but he's definitely a system QB. Like, you have the most talented O-line, a top 3 running back, and let's be real, like a top 10 wide receiver. He had Des Bryant for a while, and then he had freaking Amari Cooper his entire career. He's like 4 or 5 years deep in the
Don't forget about Gallup. He's
got Michael Gallup. They just got Jerry Jeudy. CeeDee Lamb. And yeah, their O-line is fat, and like, I don't think he deserves that kind of money. If it comes nitty gritty, I don't think he can make that big play.
But who's stopping someone else from giving him that money? If it's not the Cowboys, like look at the Vikings.
The Cowboys
did.
are for show.
The Vikings were desperate for a quarterback. And
They gave Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins all that money, so it's like if the Cowboys don't give Dak say $30 million a year, someone else definitely will, because it's a quarterback-driven league.
I think the next question is Dak even a top 10 QB?
I mean, but my whole thing is like, so he turned down originally. He turned down $30 million, right? And then he wanted 35, close to 40. But then now we see and then now you see Mahomes' contract. It's like, well, no one's at top Mahomes' contract for God knows who long, and it's like, but is Dak, like, if Dak's asking for 35 plus or whatever, it's like, I love the confidence, but you're not a top 5 quarterback.
Nope, not even top 10. Really, let's be honest.
You could maybe argue top 10, but it's like,
maybe.
but top, that's top 35 plus or even around 40 million. That's top 5, top 3 money, and those are people that either won a playoff game, won MVP, has this amount of touchdowns, all these records, this and that, or just has a reputation. Like Dak, bro, like, I'm sorry, but like, you've won, like, I think you've only won 1 playoff game, and like barely make the playoffs and get like 8 wins when y'all are supposed to be winning all these games in the division against the Redskins and Giants and Eagles, and they haven't been nothing besides the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. But like, y'all should be winning that division.
Maybe now we can roll into is he a top 10? Do you think he's a top 10 QB?
Before we get to that though, do you guys think Deshaun Watson is next again close to pay to Deshaun
Yes,
Watson?
absolutely.
Yeah.
0 O-line.
He is legit.
Just DeAndre Hopkins and who Lamar Miller?
He got hurt last year.
Exactly.
He had like Carlos Hyde. He had who's the guy on the Browns last year? Duke Williams.
Duke Johnson Jr.
Duke Johnson.
Yes.
So it's like, Deshaun's getting good.
Deshaun can do all that with crumbs. Make it to the playoffs last 3 years.
He's pissed that they traded DeAndre Hopkins, so it's like, how are you going to make someone happy? It's like, you're going to pay him a shit ton of money.
That's the only way.
And then, I mean, I think he'll be close, but he just doesn't have the accolades as Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have the MVP, which I think he will maybe win at some point.
He's finished
he
top,
does,
though.
He's up there. I think he definitely should be getting paid around 35. Look at the Texans hat on. That's funny. He definitely should be getting paid more than Dak Prescott. That's definitely 100% sure. But
I don't think Deshaun hasn't won a playoff game yet.
yeah, he has.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, they beat our Raiders.
Well, that was with Brock Osweiler.
Oh, that was with Brock Osweiler.
He still won.
But Deshaun
But-
was on the team.
But I mean, yeah, but they.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure they still won a playoff game. Because I don't know. Did they win a playoff game?
Yeah, they had.
Oh
to.
yeah, because didn't
they
they go
played
deep?
Kansas, right? And
They
lost.
played the Patriots, right?
No, who'd they beat to get
Tennessee?
to?
No,
They
Tennessee. No, Tennessee. beat-
Indianapolis. They beat Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, so they have a playoff win.
Because that's when they played Kansas City. And that's when they blew the
Blew that-
24.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I think he deserves that money. I mean, yeah, like you said, he had no offensive line. I mean, he had D Hop and he had what's his name, Will Fuller.
Fuller.
I mean, he was able to do
All or
some work,
nothing,
but
Will
like,
Fuller.
but yeah, all those years he hasn't had a line. He has had an offensive line. He really hasn't had a good running back. I can't think of anyone that's been. I mean, Lamar Miller is.
Well, they got the guy
Injury
from,
prone.
They got the guy from Arizona.
The David Johnson is not good. The David Johnson he was
David
2-3 years ago.
Bill O'Brien was.
And that's
definitely
funny
high as
because
fuck
David
when he
Johnson
got
didn't even like have a major knee, hip, or ankle injury. He hurt his fucking offhand. It was his left hand that he injured. He broke it, and he hasn't been the same player. I mean, he's also old now.
Yeah,
He's like what, 31? So, but still, yeah, no. Deshaun Watson deserves that money for all the. Imagine him with the tools that Dak Prescott has. Disgusting.
Well, right, yeah. I mean,
Disgusting.
with a good offensive line, a good running back, good wide receivers, a
decent
solid
head coach.
defense, and now he has
Coach with
Mike
half a brain.
McCarthy. Like,
Mike McCarthy.
Deshaun Watson deserves so much better. I mean, them trading DeAndre Hopkins, like, I don't know if it's gonna hurt his career, but I mean, they didn't do anything to make him happy in Houston.
Nope.
So I think when it's all said and done, he will get that contract soon. Definitely deserves it. I mean, he was a game or two away from the Super Bowl. So I mean, I think he'll eventually get there. But yeah, that since we're on the quarterback topic, who is your guys' top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL today from last season and going into this season? You start off with whoever. You got to start from 10 down to 1.
10 down to 1. All right. So, as of last season, I will give him this justice. It was between Dak Prescott for me for the 10th spot or Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford has more of a individual like yardage like wide receiver, which I think is a lot of tone to him having Megatron for most of his career. So this is why I put Dak over him. So I have Dak at 10, which is kind of, I think, a reach for me. But next I have number 9. I have Matt Ryan. 3 years removed from an MVP. Still has Julio Jones. Calvin Ridley's looking nice. I think he did what he could last year with what he was given. Next is probably one of the younger guys on the list is Carson Wentz.
Really?
Yeah, I got Carson Wentz up there. I think Carson Wentz. They got who's the wide receiver they got in the draft? Justin Jefferson. Did they get Jefferson in the draft?
Yeah.
They got Jefferson. They
Did
got.
he go to Minnesota? No, I think he went to Philadelphia.
Yeah, he went to Philly. I think that he'll make it this year. 1 full year healthy. A full 2 years removed from his ACL injury. I think that he can make noise.
Before the ACL injury, he was going to win MVP that season.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. But ever since though, he's been kind of shaky. That might be more of a reach.
I think that when you have to think about there's one position that people take for granted, and it's that tight end position. He has one of the top 3 tight ends in the league.
I agree.
I think
Zach
that
Ertz is very.
Zach Ertz. So I think
Zach Ertz is very underappreciated.
And once they add players like a deep dart like Jefferson and stuff, it opens up the field for tight ends like that, and it gives Carson Wentz more breathing room. Especially with they have who's their running back now? Justin Howard was the last year.
He was there last year. I don't know if they traded for somebody.
It's like, yeah, it's Corey Clement.
Yeah, they have some
Miles
young guys.
Sanders.
Miles Sanders. If those guys make the jump, I could see him being better this year. All right. This is where I'm going to get some heat. I have Brady. I have Brady at 7.
That's not fair. That's fair.
Yeah, it's I don't know how I'm gonna like him in Tampa.
With Mike Evans and
Mike Evans, Chris
Godwin.
Godwin, OJ Howard, Gronk.
They got what's the running back's name?
Ronald Jones.
Jeez.
He's cool.
I mean, they're okay, but it's exactly the type of shit, like, it's stuff that Brady hasn't had before. When was the last time he had, like, every year he's had maybe a Deion Branch, maybe a Randy Moss, and maybe a Julian Edelman. But now he has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, which were both top 5 in receiving yards last year. I think he'll be good, but I think he's still going to get adjusted. He's still an all-time great, but he's also, like, 97 years old, so give him some time. Shout out Johnny, I have A-Rod. I have A-Rod at 6.
That's low.
It's pretty low, but at the same time, he got thrashed by my Niners, and his
defense got
his defense.
I don't know. He had. I mean, he was also playing technically the
also,
top
Rodgers
2
doesn't
defense.
have
An
a
offensive.
first round pick on offense. Think about
And
that.
he also doesn't have an offensive line that
The
can
fact that they did not take a wide receiver in the entire draft, not even in the 7th round, they didn't even take it.
Yeah, let me just take a quarterback.
Yeah. That's stupid of them. I mean, he still has Devontae Adams, a half decent O-line, and Aaron Jones came out this year too. So I think that, he's still Aaron Rodgers, but I think that there's one or two things that could happen. The fact that they drafted Jalen Hurts, right?
No, Jordan Love.
Jordan Love. There
No,
you go. He's either gonna get pissed off and he's gonna show out this year, or it's gonna rattle him.
Well, now he's got a new boot thing, so maybe he'll play better.
I don't know. He doesn't fuck on game days.
He ain't Danica
He
Patrick?
dumped Danica Patrick for Shailene Woodley.
Oh, I didn't know
The
that.
Divergent bitch? What? That's so
I
dumb.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right, well, he still doesn't fuck on game days. Here, number 5. I got Drew Brees at 5. Okay, I was fighting with this and putting him at 4, but Drew Brees all-time great, but again, he has Alvin Kamara and a half-decent bullhead runner in Latavius Murray, ex-Raider, shout out, for 1 year. A great O-line, to the point where they released one of the best O-linemen that they had because they had that position filled. And he has Michael Thomas, and they also just picked up Emmanuel Sanders.
That's a sleeper.
So I think that it's going to be another typical year for Drew Brees. He's going to make it deep in the playoffs, and it's always going to be, yes, he can make a Super Bowl. 4 is where I have Deshaun Watson. I think he regresses this year. Unless they start making better choices and putting better stuff around him, he's not going to get any better, but he's also not going to get any worse. He's still young. He's going to develop, but they took away his number 1 option. They gave him a better deep threat, and I guess Brandon Cooks, and they still have Will Fuller. He has potential, but he's not moving up for me this year. And here's the top 3, and I think we all have about the same 3. This is my hate coming in. I have Russell Wilson at 3. I could put him anywhere on this list, but Russell Wilson is a Seahawk one. He hasn't won a Super Bowl since, 2014? Something like that.
2014?
I think it was
It
2014.
was in college.
Wait,
Yeah.
yeah, was that your call? Because that was
Sophomore
the-
year.
2014
they won the
against
year I
Peyton
was out
Manning.
there, right?
And 2015, Malcolm Butler happened.
No, when you came out, it was Carolina, Denver.
Oh yeah, true.
was
No,
2016.
but the year after though, wasn't that them?
No.
That's when they lost.
Oh yeah, okay.
So, I mean, but again, he's able to produce every single year with a half-decent O-line, whatever running back they give him, and then a bunch of young receivers, whether that be Doug Baldwin on one knee, the worst hairline in Tyler Lockett in the league, or a young double cross ear wearing DK Metcalf, and he produces every year. So I say I'll always have him in my top 3, but I don't want to move him up. 2, I have the reigning MVP, Lamar Jackson. He just brings too much to the table. Just the dual threat ability that no one's seen since Madden 2004, Michael Vick.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks for itself. He has the MVP, and his team only got better. I think he had one of the most underrated off seasons. They got that one D tackle from Jacksonville for a 5th rounder, right?
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Calais Campbell.
Yeah.
That Calais Campbell for nothing, and they maintain the thing. I think Hollywood Brown makes the jump. I think Mark Andrews still being on the roster does a lot, especially if he's healthy all 16 games. And then number 1, obviously, we have Patrick Mahomes, and we talked about him. I'm not going to fucking say anything else, but he's number 1, and there's no question.
That's fair. Go ahead, Miles.
So mine are basically the same. At 10, I got Matt Ryan, just a couple of years out of a Super Bowl and MVP, so I got him. 9, I got Stafford. I know it's not like the sexiest pick in the world, but also he had Calvin Johnson. But this past year, he doesn't have like the greatest amount of weapons, and he still throws for a
Kenny
bazillion
Galladay was
yards.
nice this year.
Yeah.
But he's so injury prone.
Yeah, so I like Stafford. He still puts up yards, despite playing in like Detroit for a team that hasn't won a playoff game in God knows how long. Number 8, I got Dak actually pretty high up. I don't know. I like his upside. It could be the system that he's in and playing for the Cowboys. I think if he was any other team, maybe not with the highlight or the spotlight like he does in Dallas. I think he'd be able to shine. And I'll be curious to see the kind of contract that he ends up with. 7, I got Tom Brady. I think this is kind of a prove-it year to see if he can do it without Bill Belichick, and I think he can just based on the weapons that he has down in Tampa Bay. And then the next 3, you could really shuffle them anywhere between 4 and 6. So at 6, I have Drew Brees. At 5, I have Deshaun Watson. At 4, I got A-God, or better known as A-Rod and Rodgers.
I had mixed up.
Yeah, so you can't really go wrong. And then just like Justin, I have Russell Wilson 3, Lamar Jackson 2, and Mahomes 1. It's pretty set in stone.
So you basically just swapped out Carson Wentz and Stafford.
Yeah.
And moved everybody up. That's fair.
That's fair. When it comes to obviously with my top 10 in the last episode, y'all went crazy with mine.
Because it was bad.
I don't think y'all gonna go crazy for mine with this one. I mean, maybe with one quarterback, maybe, or it might be shot when I put this one quarterback, but who knows? I got Dak at 10.
Yeah.
I think not have Derek Carr in there.
Absolutely.
Mariota?
Should we play the video that we have of when they drafted
absolutely
Derek
not.
Carr?
I think Dak is. He's top 10, but that doesn't mean he's. I mean,
worth any money.
If you look at the other quarterbacks I could have put in there, I don't really think those other quarterbacks are top 10. I feel like the only person you can go back and forth with Dak is maybe Stafford, maybe Wentz. Absolutely not. But I just can't. I don't see any other quarterbacks you could have put in the top 10 besides Dak. I mean, Dak's cool, but I don't think he should be getting paid that much. But
let's go to the video from 2014. Nino on.
Oh God, this is a throwback.
On Derek.
He was the most overrated quarterback in the fucking NFL. I fucking hate Derek Carr. I fucking hate
Watch, he's going to be a top 10 QB, and he has to be like, shit.
I mean, he ain't top 10 now, so I mean.
That was Lenny.
Oh, shit.
I mean, he ain't top 10 now. I mean, he had that one MVP season, and then he got hurt. I mean, unfortunately, I'm a Raider fan. I mean, obviously, I want to be good, but I mean, yeah, I didn't think that it was whatever. But it was whatever. I think this is a shock, you guys. I got Josh Allen.
Ooh. He's got a fat arm, though.
When they drafted him at first, I didn't think he was gonna be all that. He definitely showed up this past season. I don't think that anyone.
He can run the ball.
He can run the ball. I don't think anyone had the Bills doing what they did last year. Obviously, they were in Tom Brady's division, so they weren't gonna win the division. They were pretty high in the wild card. But he didn't have any wide receivers last year. Now he has Stephon Diggs.
Oh, whatever. Frank Gore carried them.
What's also crazy is that in that draft class, who would have thought Josh Allen would have been the top guy in that quarterback year? But I think he could do big things.
He got Diggs this year too.
That's what I'm saying.
Diggs, he got Beasley, Tom Brown.
He definitely has a lot of upside. I don't know how far he'll probably bring the Bills to win their division this year since Brady's not there anymore. But we'll see. I mean, they're just young. They're young. I mean, they've always had a solid defense. So we'll see what they do this season.
Don't make noise.
I got Matt Ryan at 8. Matt Ryan is still a solid quarterback. I feel like he's still up there. I mean, he's won MVP. Obviously, he hasn't done anything since the year he's won MVP. Crazy much. I mean, but also it helps that he has Julio Jones and what's his name, Calvin Ridley. He doesn't have Devontae and Tevin Coleman there anymore. But he's a lot of teams would take Matt Ryan, so I have him at 8. I think we all had Tom Brady at 7.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair place to put Tom Brady. I mean, he's up there in age, but you never know what he can do. He can still bring you to a championship, and he's one of the best players of all time. I got Drew Brees at 6.
That's low as fuck. Come on, why?
I have Brees at 6.
That's still low. I had him 5, but still.
I think that's. I went back and forth. I mean, obviously he's up there. Like he'll give you the yards, he'll give you a touchdown. He's
Who was their number
smart.
2 last year? Outside Michael Thomas, before Emmanuel Sanders.
I don't know.
I don't think they had anybody.
I don't think it was like something like crazy good.
Like Willie Snead or somebody.
Something
He's on
like that,
Baltimore
yeah.
now.
But
Snead
I
the
mean, yeah, I
fourth.
mean, Drew Brees can make any wide receiver good, which is why, in my opinion, I think that's why Michael Thomas got all those receptions last year. All they do is run slants and zig routes. But I mean, Drew Brees will get the job done. I think he could still bring a team to the Super Bowl. That's why I still got him.
He has a good air too. He's got Taysom Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then another guy from Tampa.
I got Deshaun Watson at 5. I think he's a top 5 quality quarterback. I think he can definitely improve.
You really have Aaron Rodgers 4?
I do have Aaron Rodgers at 4.
No.
I just feel like A-Rod can still do it. A God, I apologize, Johnny. A God, I think he can still do it. It's just the fact that he needs a O-line that could cover the Niners, because the Niners just outplayed that whole entire package O-line. He has a running back. He has that number 1 receiver, but he needs another receiver, and then he needs a defense that could actually play defense. I feel like Aaron Rodgers could still produce. He's one of those people that I feel like that could still bring a team to Super Bowl, but whether or not whether his GM or his surroundings can bring him to that point. I went back and forth on this so bad.
The 3? Why?
The 3 and 2, because I had Lamar at 2 and I had Russell at 3, but then I ended up just putting Lamar at 3, and Lamar's my guy. Lamar's my guy.
That's blasphemy.
Lamar's my guy. He won me 3.
Oh, personal. That's personal. Though.
He won me 3 fantasy championships last season. And and I was high on him. Like I said, he was my sleeper pick last year in fantasy, and he ended up producing, and having one of the best fantasy seasons of all time, and just having one of the best quarterback seasons of all time too. And I think he could do the same thing. He needs to win a playoff game. I think they have a good chance this year with the Ravens actually surrounding him with good players.
They lost to Tennessee though.
Right, but it
wasn't Lamar's fault. Derrick Henry went wild.
They need to get over that hump. I mean, it was the same thing with the season before too.
Derrick
And then the reason why I got Russell at 2 over Lamar is, it's Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has that Super Bowl. He's clutch. He's smart. He knows how to run the game and control the game. Like, I just think that experience put Russell over Lamar when it comes out. I mean, you think about it, that they're both mobile, but it's just Russell's more smart when it comes to being in the pocket.
He's more elusive.
And more elusive and just more controlling of the game.
I think it's horrible that Russell Wilson hasn't won at least one MVP.
If it wasn't for Lamar's season last year, he would have won it. And I fully believe he would have won it. And then obviously we got Patrick Mahomes at number 1. We already went through his topic earlier, but yeah, he's by far number 1. I think it's 1, then you got like a cool 30-yard difference from 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? Like from the rankings and all that.
He stands alone.
He stands alone.
He's in his own tier.
For right now, he's in his own tier. That was solid. If you guys want to comment on what your guys' top 10 quarterbacks going into the 2020-2021 season, y'all could go ahead. Keeping the quarterback conversation, do you guys think Cam Newton will continue the Patriots dynasty?
No.
Why not?
He's so different. He's so different than Tom
Brady. He's going to have to
Brady.
change the way he plays, too, because he's not going to be running around, running over guys, and he's injury prone right now, so I think he's going to be adjusting.
Is that shoulder really healed either?
He says it is.
I think he's going to be playing a little hesitant. You know how when you come back from a big injury and you don't want to get re-injured again, you're going to hesitate a little bit? I think Cam's going to run into that during the season.
If you want a perfect comparison to him, he's literally the Russell Westbrook of the NFL. You have a young guy who won MVP, went to the championship game finals one time, right, with a great team, and dresses like a maniac. And he's kind of a head case, but he's still really good. Yeah. Like, they both had maybe 1 or 2 bad injuries. Cam Newton obviously had a shoulder. Russell Westbrook had that meniscus tear, but they could both come back being strong. I think if they are in the right situation and they both put their egos aside, which I think Russell Westbrook finally did this season with James Harden, I think they'll succeed better. And I think Cam Newton will make noise, and I feel like the Patriots could return to the playoffs, pending how well the Bills play. But I don't think he'll do anything Tom Brady did.
I feel like he has like no pun intended with his shoulder. I feel like he has a chip on his shoulder.
He does have a chip on his shoulder.
And I feel like everyone was doubting him. Everyone was signing these quarterbacks over him, and there was teams that could have signed him. And I think he ended up falling into the right team that actually needed a quarterback. And who knows? He might be changing up his style. He might be in the pocket more. He might be like, oh, this is my prove it year. I gotta show these guys I could be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Who knows how he's gonna play under Belichick? I think I remember who's Josh McDaniels. You know, I remember him wanting more like flexibility with the way he runs his offense. I think he wanted a more mobile quarterback. So maybe he might be able to have some fun with Cam. Maybe that might be a good fit for him. I mean, who knows though? Who knows? They might still have a chance. Who knows? It's the Patriots at the end of the day. Belichick's still there. I'm not saying Cam's gonna bring him to a Super Bowl. I'm not saying they're gonna win the division, but they might have a wild card chance. And who knows? We have to see how Cam's gonna play. I definitely agree with that statement though about the whole Russell Westbrook comparison. Bring him this great player, but then can't get over championship hump. I get it, but like we'll just have to see. I guess I feel like realistically they could still make the playoffs, and I feel like if them replacing Tom Brady, they had to. I think there could have been better options, I guess, but having Cam Newton is not a bad replacement. Now I'm being biased because Cam Newton is my favorite NFL player currently, quarterback, just player in general. That's my guy. I always stand by my guy. But I think he has a chance to prove it and shows that he can still got more in the tank.
I think his floor is he gets injured again. His ceiling is probably creeping back into the top
I feel
10.
like if he does get hurt though again, I feel like it's done.
Is he starting? You think he's starting week 1?
Oh yeah.
I think he has. I don't think he has to. I don't know but what's his name? Jeff Stidham. Stidham. If that's his name. I think they signed Cam because I don't think they believed in that guy yet. Because it took him a long time. Did they even draft a quarterback in the draft?
They had options. Like they could have gotten Love.
They could have gotten a lot. They could have gotten Love. They could have gotten a lot of people, and they waited. And then maybe they were waiting because they knew that Cam was going to be there. But I don't think they ended up believing in that guy, and they signed Cam.
So do you think the floor for Cam Newton is obviously getting injured, but I think his ceiling has got to be, like say when Mike Vick came back.
Oh yeah, that was kind of crazy.
His thing when he came and played for the Eagles, and he kind of came out of nowhere and won Most Improved Player. So it's like, what needs to happen in New England for Cam Newton to have a resurgence like that?
I think it's the injury because Michael Vick came back from legal problems, and Cam Newton's coming back from an actual injury that's plaguing his dominant throwing arm, which is all a QB. Like 90% of what a QB is his arm and his head. So I think it's making sure that shoulder's really okay and coming back when he's ready.
And adjusting his play style, not having to carry the team on his back like he did with the Panthers, and having to just be less mobile and just read the defense so you don't have to run the ball all the time.
Like you said. If you play your entire career with your best option being this 30, Greg Olson's been in his 30s for 20 years. Greg Olson's been old, and he's been Cam Newton's best option his entire career. You need to do better for Cam Newton at that point.
It's fair. I like that. Who do you guys think your surprise teams will be this season?
Bills. I said earlier the Bills look good. If Devin Singletary is healthy, if Stephon Diggs and John Brown take the edge, and Cole Beasley's a nice slot receiver, and Josh Allen utilizes that arm and they make plays, I think they'll make noise. In addition to a nice front seven with some good DNs and a pretty good secondary with Trey White leading the way, I think they'll be a big surprise, especially because the Patriots are theoretically out of the way now.
I like the Bills too in the AFC. I also said my other surprise team could be New England, just if Cam gets it together. And here's a crazy surprise team. If they were in any other division,
Cardinals.
I would have them be a lock against the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I knew
I think Kyler Murray he's gonna come out guns blazing. He saw that ranking on Madden when he was a 77. I think he's gonna come out. You got DeAndre Hopkins. You got probably the most underrated wide receiver of all time in Larry Fitzgerald. He's still playing well. You got Kenyon Drake late, right before the trade deadline. He's a stud. He's young. You still got Patrick Peterson on the other side of the football. So, any other division, they would be like.
Got a nice.
I don't know. Oh, they got Chandler Jones.
There we go. The pass rusher.
So it's like any other division, it'd be an easy pick. But
there's
I
three.
like the Cardinals.
I think that they would make noise, but there's three things that are in their way. There's Nick Bosa and the Niners. There's probably Clowney. Let's be real. And the Seahawks. And then you have Aaron Donald and the Rams. But yeah,
it's a tough division, but I think I like everything.
They did what they could to let Kyler Murray get over that hump. They got DeAndre Hopkins. They got a solid running back behind him and a nice O-line front. So, fingers crossed for him.
I ended up choosing 4 teams. I think there could be a lot of sleepers this year. My number 1 sleeper, I think, is the Cardinals. Like what y'all just said, and I feel like they can get there. I think Kyler is. If they get a better offensive line, they'd be there too. But he's so small and mobile that he can get out of that line. So I'm not really worried about that. But they do need to get a better offensive line. I feel like they need to get a better secondary. Like their defensive line is there, Chandler Jones, and then they got the Isaiah Simmons they just picked up.
He can play anywhere.
I love him in the draft. I absolutely love him. He was crazy. But I feel like if they get their defense improved, I mean, they could be a secret wild card team. They could cause some problems.
Who else you got?
I got the Panthers. I think with the Panthers, it just came down to them not having a good quarterback last season. Like, who was it? What was his name? I can't remember his name. Something Allen. I don't like them having Teddy Bridgewater. I feel like it's a solid. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater did play good in the Saints. That's a system type organization, but I feel like him being in Carolina with Christian McCaffrey having an actual quarterback besides Cam, he can benefit off that. I think they need one more. I think a solid wide receiver.
Kyle
Allen, that's what. They need a solid receiver. Their DBs have been kind of okay, and their linebackers. I like Shaq Thompson, but they lost Luke Kuechly, so that might be a problem. But we'll see how they do this season.
I don't know. I disagree, kind of, solely because they have 2 huge gaps. They have Luke Kuechly, who's still gone. He's still being felt missing.
Yeah.
Who's the captain of that side, and then Cam Newton's gone. They do have McCaffrey. And when you have McCaffrey, you kind of have you have an option. But at the same time, the division is fucking filthy. You got Matt Ryan, Julio, you got Drew Brees, and you got Tom Brady down.
And I mean, they picked up Bridgewater. I mean, that was a soft pickup. Maybe that could. And they got a new head coach. Remember that?
Yeah.
So that's different.
Rule.
So
but like you said,
he's an offensive guy.
The hole they were missing was QB, and they filled it with Teddy Bridgewater. But he's still the 4th best QB in that division.
That's true.
So
that's true. But they also have the best running back in that division, maybe in the whole
NFL,
league.
Let's be real, in the NFL.
I think he is the best running back in the league, so he might do some damage, but maybe they don't have to put a lot of pressure on his back. I also have the Colts.
Colts, nice.
The Colts, they're in the weakest division in the whole league.
They got Phillip Rivers.
I know. And
Buckner's on the team now.
Yeah, I mean they finished 7-9 last year. They could have. I mean they're in the weakest division, like I said. I feel like this is the best quarterback option they've had since Andrew Luck. They picked up Jonathan Taylor in the 2nd round and running back. I think he's going to be a sleeper, like just in general sleeper running back. He'll be nice. T.Y. Hill needs to stay healthy. They definitely improved on defense getting Buckner. I don't know why the Niners traded him instead of Armstead, but that's a different story. But they definitely improved with that, and they can make some noise in that division. And my last one, y'all both agree, the Bills. The Bills could definitely make some noise. They'll win the division this year, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not they have the maturity and the what's the word I'm trying to look for, the
chemistry.
No, like the experience at playoffs. It's whether or not they can get past that. And I also, you can say if they were a sleeper or not, but you never know. You can say the Bucks too. No one knows how the Bucks are gonna play. I just feel like that wide receiver core is going to be the best in the league, damn near. And if they pick up a few pieces and their defense was okay, I think they could make some noise with that. But yeah. Speaking on that though, do you guys who will be more successful? Will Tom Brady be more successful without Bill Belichick, or will Bill Belichick be more successful without Tom Brady? Who will have a better season?
Brady. I feel
I
like
have to agree with that.
I feel like it's weird because you lose like so. Here's the thing: you lose Bill Belichick, but you gain wide receivers. You get Gronk back.
It's an overall better team.
Yeah, and you have a better. You have Levante David still. Like you have a pretty good defense, and then it's like you're Bill Belichick. You replace who? You replace Tom Brady with an injured. You removed Cam Newton. So I feel like Tom Brady's inherited the better situation, is in line to have a better season in comparison.
I just think over the years, I mean, it's always everyone's had that debate whether Brady could be good without Belichick, or would Belichick be one of the greatest coaches of all time without Brady. I think it's that. I think Belichick would be nothing without Brady, in my opinion, and I feel like Belichick is still one of the best coaches of all time. No, don't get me wrong, but I just think Brady has had more of an impact because he's the quarterback. He has been the quarterback for the last, what has it been, 20 years?
20 years.
Yeah, 20
2003
years.
is when he made his noise.
Yeah, so I definitely think it's Brady will have a better season, and Belichick will go down. Y'all have any more to say about that or no?
I think that everything's been said.
What is you guys' prediction matchup for Super Bowl this year?
I feel like I don't like to say it, but I feel like the Super Bowl goes through the AFC. The AFC is so goddamn stacked this year. It's ridiculous. You obviously have Mahomes. You think about the top 5 QBs we all agreed on. They have Mahomes, they have Lamar Jackson, and they have Deshaun Watson. In addition, you have teams that don't even have those top 3. You have not Tom Brady. You have the Bills, and I feel like for me, obviously Baltimore is the team to beat in the AFC this year. I think Lamar Jackson's inexperience in the playoffs really got to him, in addition to having kind of a lackluster defensive presence in that game against Tennessee and Derrick Henry. I think he makes it back there. The NFC, I'm still kind of mulling over, so I'll let you guys give your picks because I really haven't decided.
I think Kansas City. It's going to be Kansas City, Baltimore in the AFC Championship, and I think Kansas City is going to represent the AFC. And I'm going to go out on a limb here. I don't know why I didn't mention them in my surprise team. I'm going to go Dallas.
Get the fuck out of
Dak
here.
Prescott.
Really just said Dallas?
Hear me out. Dak Prescott, franchise tags, looking for a big contract. Last guy to do something like that was a guy by the name of Joe Flacco, who did it against the Niners. He bet on himself. I'm going to go out with this hot take. Cowboys to the
Joe
Super Bowl.
Flacco owes that entire Super Bowl to Jacoby Jones. That's it. Get the fuck out of here.
And that defense.
Yeah.
Cowboys, Chiefs. C squared.
That's filthy. I'm gonna go with the safe pick, and I'm gonna have to say that probably the Saints. The Saints only got better. They literally lost no one. Yeah, so I'm going Saints, Ravens in the Super Bowl. I was gonna say the Niners to be biased, but I feel like they lost out on Buckner. They replaced him with a rookie. They lost Emmanuel Sanders and replaced him with a rookie. You may have gotten the replacements, but you're getting rookies, so that's a regression. They've only regressed since last year.
God, you really said the Cowboys. I don't. Wow, that's a stretch. Even if they make.
We'll replay this come February.
I think the AFC does go through the Ravens and Chiefs. It's a coin flip with those two teams, but I think the Ravens end up pulling that off, just because they got Calais Campbell for a 5th round pick.
That defense is only going to get better.
And we mentioned about getting back-to-back Super Bowls. So that's going to be hard for Kansas
And Calais Campbell is still one of the best defensive linemen in the game. I mean, he did just win Defensive Player of the Year a couple of years ago, and they got him for nothing. They still got Earl Thomas. They got Hollywood Brown, who's injury prone, but I think if he stays healthy, he said he played last season hurt the entire year. So who knows with that? They still got that tight end who's nice. They still got Mark Ingram. I'm also a fan of them picking up J.K. Dobbins in the draft.
Oh yeah.
I think he'll fit well in that offense. Lamar's gonna do his thing. He just has to handle the pressure. And if he controls that pressure, I think he can bring his team to a Super Bowl and win it, like he said he was going to do when they took him 30th overall in the draft. But I think the Ravens can get over the hump this year. I think they'll take it. I want to say the Saints so badly because that is a safe pick, and I feel like they're going to get there.
Who's your backup?
But I mean, the Saints. Like I said, I want to say the Saints, but I just have a strong feeling that the Bucs are going to be there for some reason, just because of Brady. Like Brady hasn't. Think about it. Brady had. And I'm not the biggest Brady fan. Obviously, I'm a Raider fan. I'm not the biggest Brady fan, but it's just that, like we were talking about before this topic, Brady also has a chip on his shoulder because he wants to prove people that he can do everything without Belichick, and he could bring another team to a Super Bowl and win. And it's like, if you. I top of my head, I can't really think of all the weapons that he's had in the past, but having Mike Evans, having Chris Godwin, having Rob Gronkowski, like those three alone, like that's just a crazy amount of weapons you can have. And I just feel like at the end, the Saints and Bucs will make the playoffs. One will get the wild card, obviously, but I just feel like I said, I want to say the Saints, but I just feel like for some reason I feel like the Bucs are gonna get there, and I feel like they're missing one piece, and that's a running back, and I feel like if they sign Devontae Freeman, like let him prove himself to get back all the head injuries. But if they could sign Devontae Freeman, that's just, I think that offense is going to be crazy. I'm not too experienced with their offensive line. I don't know how good the offensive line is. I think they drafted one who was pretty cool. They got him for a good pick.
My exceptions with that is, other than Brady and a year removed, 50 pounds lighter Gronk, what else do the Bucs have they gotten better at? I guess Devontae would be an upgrade. They're also in arguably one of the top two most difficult divisions in the NFC, other than maybe the West. And is Tom Brady really going to utilize those guys better or worse than Jameis? Jameis Winston actually threw the ball more than 20 yards, every play.
But
Tom Brady never throws more than 20 yards.
But he also Jameis Winston just threw the ball and then see people wide open sometimes, and he just threw the ball, and then they led the pick sixes.
I mean,
he also needed LASIK this summer, so
that's also true too.
But that's the thing; those two, the receivers we're talking about, they had those receptions and they had those yards because Jameis Winston threw beyond 20 yards, and Tom Brady's entire thing is quite literally slants, short passes, curls. That's
I get it. No, I get it.
I mean, I also don't doubt. One team from the NFC West and one team from the NFC South will take the 2 wildcard spots. I'll agree to that.
I also think, with Mike Evans, he's been in the league for I think 5 years. I think now he's one of my top guys too. He has a GOAT quarterback now. So he got to take things seriously now. He got to wake up. He can't be having those 0 yards against the Saints anymore. You got to wake up now because now you got a good quarterback. Chris Godwin came up last year. He did his thing. Let's see if he has a good second season or not. And we also got to see what Gronk can do. I don't know what he can do or he has left in the tank, but I still think that he can get there. The safe pick is the Saints. I think the safe pick for every year could be the Saints. But I just think for some reason the Bucs are.
You gotta talk about the Bucs defense too, though.
The Bucs defense is shaky.
Shaky.
But they do have
Levante David,
and they know that dude.
Gerald McCoy's not on the team anymore.
No. His name was Shaq.
Lawson.
No.
Thompson.
No, he led the league in sacks for the longest time.
This year, yeah.
I forgot his name. He's there. I don't know. Their DBs are shaky though. That's shaky. I don't know. And then the linebackers, I don't know what's up with the linebackers besides Levante David.
You think it's Shaquille Barrett?
Shaquille Barrett. Because he was crazy last season. He could do something, but do they still have Sue?
Who?
Jonathan Sue did not resign.
He didn't resign with the Bucs. I thought he resigned with the Bucs.
But those are great linemen. But yeah.
Exactly. Oh right, but their DBs. I don't know if they signed any DBs this offseason, but I think the safe pick would be Ravens and Saints. My gut that I would pencil down would be Ravens Bucks.
Fair.
So y'all can criticize me for all y'all want, but at the end of the day, it's Brady. He might have ended badly in New England, but now he has a chip on his shoulder, and I think he's gonna do that just to prove that he can do it without Belichick. That ends the third episode of Stutter Step Podcast. I want to thank y'all for listening. This is gonna be Miles' last episode for God knows who long, since he'll be moving to Texas.
We'll miss you, Miles.
Wish him luck out there and be safe and everything.
Thank you guys.
And we'll see you guys for episode 4. Thanks for listening.